Good afternoon. This is Dulia De Silva for Gold FM, bringing you your news in detail.
The news headlines on Gold FM.
In your news headlines, Shiranti can't make it to the FCID. Opposition to embark on inspection tour amid coal scandal. Is Sri Lanka really ready for foreign investments? Sri Lanka to face England in series decider today. And in news overseas, EU and India announced the mother of all deals.
The top story on Gold FM.
Former First Lady Shiranti Rajapaksa failed to appear before the Police Financial Crimes Investigation Division today, citing personal reasons. She also requested a 2-week extension before facing further questioning. Investigators are seeking a statement regarding alleged financial irregularities involving an account under the name Cirilia. Meanwhile, former Minister P. Harrison arrived at the FCID premises this morning to address allegations surrounding a 2018 livestock deal. The inquiry focuses on the expenditure of $11.5 million for the importation of 20,000 dairy cows from an Australian farm. The former minister left the premises after providing a statement lasting nearly 2 hours. In a separate development, the suspended deputy director of the Colombo National Hospital, Rukshan Billana, also reported to the FCID today.
This is the local news on Gold FM.
A delegation from the main opposition, the Samagi Janabalavega, is due to embark on an inspection tour of the Norachale coal power plant today. The group, which involves MPs Ajith P. Pereira, JC Alvatuela and Rohana Bandara, aims to investigate operational concerns amid ongoing debates regarding a controversial coal procurement tender. Speaking to the media prior to the visit, MP Ajith P. Pereira stated that the inspection follows reports of substantial coal shipments and alleged irregularities in the bidding process. In the interest of clarity, we have left his remarks undubbed.
මෙතෙක් අපි කටයුතු කරේ රජය විසින් ඉදිරිපත් කරපු වාර්තාවන් ඒ වගේම අදාළ විශේෂ භාර නිලධාරීන් විසින් ඉදිරිපත් කරපු වාර්තාවන් මත පදනම් වෙලා. නමුත් අපි කල්පනා කරා විපක්ෂ මන්ත්‍රීවරු හැටියට ක්ෂේත්‍රයට ගිහිල්ලා එතන තිබෙන තත්ත්වය ඇහින් දැකලා එතන ඉන්න නිලධාරීත් එක්ක කතා කරලා මේ සත්‍ය තත්ත්වය තේරුම් ගන්න. මොකද ජාතික ආරක්ෂාව පිළිබඳ ඒ වගේම පරශක්ති ආරක්ෂාව පිළිබඳ ඉතාම වැදගත් කාරණයක් නොරොච්චෝලේ ගල්ලංගුරු දිය බලාගාරය නිසිලස ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීම ඒ වගේම ගල්ලංගුරු නිසිලස නියමිත වෙලාවට ලැබීම මේක ඉතාම බරපතල ප්‍රශ්නයක්. විපක්ෂයේ වශයෙන් අපිට වගකීමක් තියෙනවා සත්‍ය තත්ත්වය නිසිලස අවබෝධ කර ගැනීම. ඒ වගේම අපි දන්නවා පළවෙනි ගල්ලංගුරු නැව ඉතාම දුර්වලයි, ප්‍රමිතියට නැහැ. තුන්වෙනි ගල්ලංගුරු නැවත් ප්‍රමිතියට නැහැ කියන එක අපිට දන්න තොරතුරු. ඒ වගේම දෙවෙනි සහ හතරවෙනි නැව පිළිබඳ කිසි තොරතුරක් නැහැ.
The government admitted that the consignment was not of the required standard and those responsible would be fined. However, former Minister Partali Champika Ranavika claimed that the coal tender is causing a loss of nearly 2 gigawatt hours of electricity per day, and that the resulting financial loss is almost double the penalty that the authorities plan to recover. A group of school development officers are continuing a hunger strike outside the Presidential Secretariat today, demanding permanent positions within the National Teaching Service. The protest began as a sit-in yesterday, before escalating into a hunger strike by late afternoon. The officers represent a cohort who served in teaching roles for 7 years without formal integration into the teacher category. Viraj Manaranga, the secretary of the Sri Lanka School Officers Association, informed the press that the protests will persist until the government provides a concrete solution to their professional grievances. The Government Radiological Technologists Association announced an island-wide continuous strike in government hospitals starting at 8 a.m. tomorrow. The association said radiological services, including CT scans, MRI scans, mammograms, and surgeries requiring radiation, are likely to be disrupted during the strike. The action follows an earlier 24-hour token strike, with the GRTA protesting against radiological examinations allegedly being carried out by unqualified individuals at Maligavatta Hospital. A 37-year-old police woman constable attached to the Badulla Divisional Crimes Investigation Unit is set to be produced before the Valimada Magistrates Court. The PC was arrested in Badulla with 4.2 grams of heroin in her possession. Police investigations revealed that she allegedly had a long-standing link with major drug traffickers and is suspected of laundering drug money through a bank account in her mother's name. 2 other women and a man were also arrested in connection with the same network. Authorities say the suspect had allegedly carried out the drug-related activities while living in official police quarters. Further investigations are ongoing. The government is ready for foreign investments, but perennial problems continue to plague Sri Lanka. That's according to a lead economist from Colombo-based think tank Verite Research, Matisha Arangala. Speaking to our news team, Arangala noted that the former government's Economic Transformation Act has some flaws, which the current government would do well to learn from.
If they are bringing it in, they need to do it with a consideration of doing consultations, and this cannot be rushed. It can't be like a list of groceries comes in and there's no follow through with it. There can't be room for misinterpretation and loopholes. So it needs to be a proper investment protection which cannot be contested and which is solid and which can give the investors certainty.
Bureaucratic issues are also holding the country back.
A lot of our policies are uncoordinated and siloed. For instance, the investments in electric vehicles. One institute makes the overall strategy, but they don't have control to follow it through. The MOT makes the strategy, the Ministry of Finance decides on the tariff rates. So if the MOT says that we want to increase the percentage of EVs and attract investments into EV manufacturing, battery assembly and all these things, and they don't have control of the tariff, then they can't follow through with it.
The Economist criticised the snail's pace of Sri Lanka's reform system, noting that the single window for trade, for instance, has yet to be implemented, despite multiple discussions on the subject. With Sri Lanka being a smaller country, it is impossible to compete with our neighbours on scale. So what exactly should the island focus on?
We don't have the labor, we don't have the land. And a lot of times, small countries like Sri Lanka, how they have sort of attracted investments and become like more export-oriented economies is so countries like the Netherlands or even Singapore and even other small countries in Southeast Asia and South Asia, like our region. What they have done is they have focused on quality and efficiency. Large countries like India, they find it difficult to coordinate. They find it difficult to make things like single windows. They find it difficult to crack down on corruption. They have a lot of institutions in place. So what countries like Singapore did is they took advantage of those inefficiencies and said, you can set up here and we can help you understand those inefficiencies in the other countries. We'll give you the automated systems, we'll give you the single windows, we'll give you the fast track licensing, and we'll also give you a quality workforce, quality things and a good standard living so that you can set up your headquarters and other operations in our country and you can cater to these large markets from there. So in that sense, they also said that we can secure the markets for these countries as well. But the problem in Sri Lanka is that increasingly losing that advantage with quality and efficiency, which it used to have around 10 to 15 years back even, to even these larger countries.
He's also of the view that Sri Lanka has failed to communicate the island's competitive advantage.
One thing that we still have when compared to the region is our connectivity. Connectivity could be a path to brand. Then compliance. We have at least about 50% of our energy comes through renewable sources, so we can position ourselves for sustainable supply chain. So we need to identify certain branding and things like that and like position ourselves, and that should be communicated through these investments. Even the little resources that we have with respect to labor and land, we need to optimize, and we have failed to do that. One issue that a lot of investors in Sri Lanka face, even the foreign investors, can't find people to work with. One thing which goes back to that is the issue of female labor force participation. Sri Lanka's female labor force participation is in the 30s, while countries like Vietnam, 70% of the female in the working age, they are in the labor force. And that's a massive issue because we have a small population and an aging population to begin with, and we are not optimizing the population we have as well.
Now for some news in brief.
Six officers attached to the Gampaha Police Special Motorcycle Squad, who were previously arrested and remanded for allegedly assaulting a Catholic priest, were interdicted.
The business news on Gold FM.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and European leaders officially finalised a historic free trade agreement in New Delhi today, in a pact described by officials as the mother of all trade deals. The agreement, representing a quarter of global GDP, aims to remove tariffs on 97% of goods, providing a vital alternative for Indian exporters currently facing 50% tariffs from the United States. The Insurance Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka strengthened efforts to settle claims after Cyclone Ditwa, working with all 14 licensed general insurers to provide financial relief to affected households and businesses. As of mid-January, over 24,000 claims have been filed, with a total estimated value of around 58 billion rupees. More than 5 billion rupees were already disbursed, including 4 billion for non-motor losses, such as property and commercial damage. The Commission directed insurers to release advance payments for complex claims, while the industry relies on international reinsurance to maintain financial stability, despite challenges like damaged repair facilities. A sharp contrast in operational efficiency emerged at the Port of Colombo, as the private sector-led Colombo West International Terminal significantly outpaced the state-managed East Container Terminal. Despite commencing operations in April 2025, the West Terminal handled over 700,000 container units by the year-end, reaching 90% capacity utilization in its first phase. In comparison, the state-run East Container Terminal processed just over 500,000 units, with officials citing incomplete infrastructure as a primary hurdle.
International news on Gold FM.
UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer says he will not choose between the United States and China. Starmer made the comments ahead of a key visit to Beijing, which will be the first by a British leader in 8 years. He said the UK would maintain close ties with the US on business, security and defence, but added, quote, "Sticking your head in the sand and ignoring China wouldn't be sensible," unquote. Starmer also described ignoring the world's second largest economy as a dereliction of duty.
Entertainment news on Gold FM.
British broadcaster Channel 4 confirmed that TV chef Nigella Lawson will replace Dame Prue Leith as a judge alongside Paul Hollywood for the upcoming series of The Great British Bake Off. Lawson describes the appointment as a huge honour, while Dame Prue offered her full support for the new addition to the tent.
Sports news on Gold FM.
A high-stakes finale awaits at the R. Premadasa International Stadium today, as Sri Lanka and England meet for the third and final one-day international. With the series currently deadlocked at 1 win apiece, Both nations seek a decisive victory to claim the trophy. Play begins at 2:30 p.m. local time. That's it for now. This is Dully De Silva for Gold FM. Thank you, and have a lovely evening ahead.